Welcome back to Cloud Computing. In today's video, we're going to dive into AWS IAM, or Identity and Access Management. IAM is a critical service for securing and managing access to your AWS resources. Whether you're a beginner or just looking for a refresher, this video will walk you through the basics, common use cases, and how to get started. Let's get going. So, what is IAM? In simple terms, IAM allows you to manage access to AWS services and resources securely. It enables you to create and manage AWS users, groups, roles, and policies. Think of it as a gatekeeper that controls who has access to your AWS account and what they can do. Let's take a look at some of IAM's key features. 1. Granular permissions. Control access at a fine-grained level. You can decide which users or roles have access to specific AWS services and resources. 2. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. Add an extra layer of security by requiring a second form of authentication, such as a code from a mobile device. 3. Temporary credentials. You can assign temporary access to AWS resources using roles, perfect for security-sensitive environments. 4. Centralized access control. You can manage access control for your entire AWS account in one place, ensuring security across all resources. 5. Auditing and monitoring. With CloudTrail and IAM policies, you can track who accessed what and when, providing visibility into actions taken on your AWS resources. Now, let's look at some common use cases for IAM. 1. Create users and groups. You can create separate IAM users for individuals who need access to your AWS account and assign them to groups for easier management. 2. Least privilege principle. This allows you to follow security best practices by giving users only the permissions they need to do their job. 3. Multi-factor authentication, MFA. Set up MFA for sensitive operations, adding an extra layer of protection. 4. Cross-account access. You can allow users in one AWS account to securely access resources in another AWS account using roles. 5. Application authentication. Use IAM roles to manage permissions for applications running on EC2, Lambda, or other AWS services. Let's break down the main components of IAM. 1. Users. These are individual identities that represent a person or application. A user can have access to AWS services based on the permissions you assign. 2. Groups. A collection of IAM users that you can manage as a unit. For example, you can have a developers group that grants certain permissions to all developers in your organization. 3. Roles. IAM roles provide temporary access to AWS resources. These are typically assigned to applications or services, but can also be used for cross-account access. And 4. Policies. Policies define what actions are allowed or denied for users, groups, or roles. They are written in JSON format and can be attached to any of the above. All right. Now that we've covered the basics, let's walk through how to set up IAM users and roles in the AWS Management Console. Let's create a new user. Click on Users in the left-hand menu and then Add User. Enter a username and select the type of access. For this example, we'll choose Programmatic Access, which is used when the user needs access through the AWS CLI or API. Next, we'll attach a policy that defines what permissions this user will have. You can choose from AWS Managed Policies or create a custom one. For now, we'll select Administrator Access. but remember to always follow the least privilege principle in real-world scenarios. You can also add multi-factor authentication, or MFA, for this user by going to the Security Credentials tab and following the instructions to enable MFA using an authenticator app. Now, let's create a role. Roles are useful when you want to grant temporary permissions. For example, you may want an EC2 instance to access an S3 bucket. To do this, go to Roles, then Create Role. Choose the AWS service that will assume the role, in this case, EC2, and then attach an appropriate policy, such as Amazon S3 read-only access. And that's it. You've now created users, roles, and attached policies in AWS IAM. IAM is crucial for securing your AWS environment and managing access efficiently. As you scale your AWS usage, IAM will be your go-to tool for maintaining a secure and organized account structure. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell icon for notifications on our latest content. If you have any questions about IAM or AWS in general, leave a comment below and we'll be happy to help. Thanks for watching, and happy cloud computing!